So let's talk about EVs. The EV1 came out on the market a long time ago. GM, Who Killed the Electric Car? It's a great documentary. Take a look at it. Fundamentally, there were a couple problems there. They're well documented. But there were consumers that loved those things. But the economics for multiple other stakeholders simply didn't make sense. And because the economics for those stakeholders simply didn't make sense, legislators certainly weren't even able to look at it, at least not seriously, despite the fact that it's a solution. It wasn't until we had, really honestly, it wasn't really until Tesla came out and changed the nature of the conversation. But the way that Tesla started biting into the market was not fundamentally by saying, hey, we're here to solve climate change. They came on to, no. They came onto the market and said, we're going to take the image of a golf cart and we're going to detonate it. They came out and they said, here are sexy, sleek, cool, awesome performance EVs. They made EVs cool. They didn't set out to solve climate change. Read the Tesla Master Plan. Yes, long-term goal. But in the short term, they set out to make a car that was cool, and they succeeded. And if we look at, go through the massive amount of market analysis, yes, there were a number of people who purchased these things because, in large part, hey, they're great for the climate long term. Even though, astute observers will point out, well, yeah, but there's conflict minerals, there's cobalt from Congo. Yep. At least there was in previous generations. That's a problem. So let's also be honest about the fact that as we're exploring solutions, there will be different problems that we encounter that we will need to solve on the path to progress. But let's also understand the way that Tesla was able to open up the space for the EV conversation to change was fundamentally they created a product that was responsive to every one of those circles on that Venn diagram, opened up that tiny, tiny little window that you could send a pin through, and they shot that pin through it. That is how you do climate deadlock breakout. They proved that there was enough consumer demand for the vehicles that it would support an industry. That got investors' attention, that got other companies' attention. That created a space for more innovation. And so I look at everything that Tesla's doing, that's cool. But then look at the fact that it opened up the ability for Mate Ribbons to come out and start operating in the Halo car space with the Nevera, which started changing the conversation in its own way. Because suddenly you're not talking about a Bugatti Veyron as the big old car. No, it's this electric thing. Well, that shifts the conversation. And more importantly, what their company did was they broke off all of the tech and the IP for how to do the electric drivetrains and technology that they started then supplying to a list of companies. And now suddenly you've got an infrastructure pipeline that exists in the European market in the same way that Tesla. The whole point is we get into the space where as soon as you start creating a little bit of a window, once you've got that tiny hole punched with that pin, then the Venn diagrams can start shifting and opening and opening and opening. And that's what we've seen over the past decade. That's what we've seen over the past 15 years in the EV space. And once it got to the point where more and more news articles started coming out, more and more industry articles started coming out, more and more industry experts started coming out and saying, yep, electric's inevitable. Yep, it's just the thing. Yep, we all know it's coming. Everybody who doesn't do it is going to be left behind. That sense of inevitability snowballed into actual inevitability. This is not a technological problem. EV technology existed, people don't understand this, in the 1900s. Actually, a little bit before that, but we'll set the exact years aside. It wasn't until we solved the people problem that we actually solved the whole problem. That's the essence of climate deadlock breakout. We need to build the bridges, we need to account for all the different stakeholder constraints. As soon as it became obvious to the companies that this was the way for the future, then that opened up space for the regulators and the legislators to say, oh, well, okay, it's possible, it's viable, yep, let's do it. So we're going to mandate it. And then that in turn, do you see the feedback loop? As soon as we've got that, then that feeds back in and we've got more and more happening. At the corporate level, consumers start expecting it, it spirals, and you get to a good result. In other words, this is how a policy goes viral. So what we need to do is we need to figure out how to get to a place where the intersection of policy, technology, company, market, all of those things swirl together. We need to build that swirl for more markets, for more goods, for more services, for more aspects of our economy. And here's my point. We've proven it's possible. So all we need to do is do it.